Yeah, it just always kind of seems to fall their way, and it makes you wonder. Because she has not allowed herself to do press conferences, and when the debates are coming up, I mean, definitely Trump is going to have to take advantage of that. Do you think that's going to be enough for him to go on and win? Does he have, with this kind of ammunition that she hasn't faced yet? I mean, is that going to be enough for Trump to win? Do you think, or what's your prediction there?
I don't know. You know, I think even Trump is finding the Republican nomination to be the big leagues. And just so you know, like Reagan, the great communicator, he used to talk about things like, trees polluting the world, and he talked about getting into sending the U.S. military to fight Ecuador over a fishing dispute. And he made all kinds of rookie mistakes before he ultimately got the nomination, but he had to do three times. And people remember the finished product, but they don't realize that Reagan said a lot of dumb rookie things before he really matriculated as the president that we all know him in the history books now. So even a veteran like that. So Trump managed to get all the way through, and he won on the first try. And he doesn't, just like Obama, except he does not have a flattering media to protect him from the dumb mistakes. Now, I think that he is very capable of learning quickly, and he's going to have to learn really quickly now. But these leagues are big for even him, and I also think he's going to. I think that this business about comparing it to the Reagan Carter contest of 1980 is a wrong analogy. It I think that first of all, the presidency is an open seat this year, so I would look at the Dukakis Bush 41 race and this was after Reagan left the office. Okay, so 1988. When Reagan left the office, Michael Dukakis, governor of Massachusetts, was up against Vice President to Ronald Reagan, George Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st president, became the 41st president. So these two guys are up against each other hard. And so the question is, where were they in August about this time? And I did just a kind of a refresher look at that. I do think there's a correlation. I think if Trump comes within striking distance of Hillary by the end of the month, then I think he would be on track to win. Dukakis was doing well in the first third of August against Bush in 1988. And then Bush did really well in his convention. People really liked him, and because he had a likability, grandfather type image, and so Bush edged into a lead over Dukakis by the end of August. So I think that the end of August is going to tell you something about Trump's situation, and I do think there's a potential for hidden votes for Trump. I also think that as it gets scarier and scarier and scarier as a Hillary presidency, knowingly electing somebody who's corrupt and who's going to make the changes in the courts, I think that one way or the other, there's going to be unity among people who are alarmed by these possibilities. So Hillary, she's a great unifier for the Republicans. And I think that once this becomes real to people, I haven't changed my views that Trump is going to be extremely competitive in the industrial states and the depressed states, Ohio, Michigan, those types of states
Right.
that have a glorious past in manufacturing. I don't think there's any way she's going to be able to BS her way through and tell those people and convince them that she's going to be on their side. So that's a really big dynamic. And I also don't think that the polls are as accurate, but at the same time, Trump is making a lot of rookie mistakes. But, it took Nixon two tries to become president. And he had a major meltdown in California in 1962. You won't have Nixon to kick around anymore. And, in a few short years, he was the president for an open seat. And I think that, so I think that's another issue. And arguably, Hillary is on her fourth presidential run because there were two Clinton administrations, the first one and the second reelection. And then she tried and lost to Obama. So this is number four for Hillary. And she's an experienced candidate, and she's got a lot of infrastructure and a lot of other in-depth knowledge about the complexities and difficulties of running up this kind of a campaign. And Trump is in the end a rookie. I think he's a quick learner, but he damn well better be a quick learner. I really do, But I think that I would look at the polls and see if there's any movement at all toward Trump between, somewhere before Labor Day. And I think that's going to tell us where we are, because that seems to be an inflection point with elections. But of course, this year has proven to be really hard to read. I mean, I didn't take Trump as a serious candidate at first. But when he
Right. Yeah.
won, when I think we've talked about this, when he won in my state of South Carolina by poaching 50% of evangelical voters, I said, okay, this is interesting. This has become very interesting to me. So I don't know. You got a lot of sore losers in the Republican Party. You would think that if you lose fair and square, you just grin and bear it. But with these people, with so many people attacking him. He's getting a very little support from the Republican Party. Very little, if he wins, it's really going to be his victory. I'm certainly PU'd at the Republican establishment. I had no idea they were so corrupt. I mean, I knew that they had gone over to the dark side of the force on issues, on big government issues, but I didn't know that they were so petulant about their incompetence and their previous incompetence as politicians. The left, Obama is much more psychologically adept on mass-based psychology than they are. And they get their fannies kicked every time. You are definitely going to need a guy that knows how to deal with the left and to expose them, for what they are. And they just weren't up to the task. They just weren't. It was a bigger league than any of those 17 people, quite frankly. And they didn't have a pulse on the countries where the country is right now. So
Yeah.
Trump seems to be better at that.